We're at Brands Hatch today, and we are going to compare the Ferrari 488 GT3 for Assetto Corsa versus the newly released Ferrari 488 GTE for iRacing. Now, this is not an iRacing versus Assetto Corsa video, so you guys can form your own opinions on the graphics, the sounds, the physics, etc., etc. Now, there is quite a difference between driving styles of the two sims, so it is quite difficult to go back and forth. And of course, we're starting here with the Assetto Corsa 488 GT3. Now, what I found is mid-corner, the GT3 has a bit of understeer, and I think a lot of that comes down to the slip angles on the tires, as when you're starting to put more and more steering lock into it, and all of a sudden the front tires just feel like they lose grip and wash out. Then I found that on the exit of the corner, you can really use the throttle to rotate the car and get a quick exit on it. Now, with the Assetto Corsa GT3, I felt that there was a lot of input in the wheel, a lot of feedback through the wheel. And I don't just mean like force feedback, but you got the little bumps and the little vibrations. You can really feel that. Setup-wise, there's a lot of setup changes you can make on the GT3 car. Downforce, for example, there's 2 settings on the front splitter, a whole bunch on the rear wing. I am running a 1.6 setting on my downforce levels, better or worse, that's what I'm running. You can make changes to the differential for both throttle and coast, which is something I really like because you can really fine-tune your corner entry and exit with that. As for the brakes, technically the 488 GT3 has ABS, and I turned it off to try to keep it more comparative to the GTE. However, I think I should have kept it on because the real-life rules do allow for anti-lock brakes. Now, even though this video is not really a GT3 versus GTE, so the lap times aren't really that relative to each other. Nevertheless, we still want to see how fast the cars are, so let's get into a hot lap with the 488 GT3. Now we have the 488 GTE for iRacing, and I did mention earlier it is quite difficult to go from iRacing to Assetto Corsa or vice versa, as there is a bit of a driving style difference between the two sims. A lot of it can be down to the user settings. Now, I found that the GTE car required more steering input, especially through the slower speed corners, but I did find that mid-corner grip was way better on this car. The brakes, I think that was one of the harder things to get used to, as for me, I was locking the brakes quite easily, and that posed quite a challenge, not just under the braking zones, just to make sure you make the corner, but you really have to be good at trail braking to carry speed through the corners. Then on the exit of the corner, I found that this car had a tendency to understeer. So you'd get on the power and it would just push the front end away. And you can't really tune that out that easily, as your diff settings are only, you got a clutch pack and your preload. And so that doesn't give you a whole lot of adjustments to make, but you can definitely make some improvements there. The car is excellent over the bumps and the curbs, and nothing really unsettles it that much, which makes it very satisfying once you get into real flow and you're really pushing the limits of the track. However, if you overcook it into a corner and the back end starts to come around, it is extremely difficult to save it. That Assetto Corsa is much easier to drive in that sense. One thing to note about the GTE car was that I found that the balance felt better with a full fuel tank on board. And when I dropped it down to 25 liters, I really didn't see as much of a drop in lap time as I expected. I found that on a couple different tracks as well, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, like I said, 25 liters in the tank, and here's our hot lap.